I want to be as authentic and honest as I can be. And I feel like I want to give and pour what I want to attract.
AJ?
Damn it!
So wait a minute. So you know when I first started doing these, I was like, stay with me. Cause we back.
I got too excited.
It's okay. Well, you know when I first started doing this, I was like, I want to talk to AJ, but I saw on your but you was like, God didn't tell me to do this yet, so I'm chilling. So I was waiting. When I saw you doing lives, I was like, yes, she's doing lives now. Let me call AJ. So.
Isn't that I was like, wait, what is going on? Okay. Isn't that deep? That I was like, yeah, God is not telling me to jump on that yet. Like, and I'll tell you why, now that we're here. Because we hadn't really talked like directly. I mean, of course we're on touch. But the truth is, thank you, God, I have been working since like December 16th and traveling the world. Like I was in Ghana all of December, came back, took an 8-day cruise early January, got back from that, went into a full month of press, which you know, because you helped for my show, Stuck With You. So I was gone traveling. I was on 14 planes, D. 14 planes since this shit hit. Day cruise. So I was like, you know what? Let me make sure that I'm not spreading it and that I'm asymptomatic. Let me sit my ass down, make sure I, get my immune system together, get my food together, rest. Let me make sure that if I got it, I'm gonna get rid of it. And if I don't have it, I want to keep it that way. That's why at first, for those first 14 days, 20 days, I was like, you know what? Let me make sure before I hop my ass around on an IG live workout that I'm not Miss Corona.
Right.
Right? Let's make sure that I'm not the bitch you're running from. How about that? Before I start talking, immune system. Let me make sure that I'm straight.
Right, there you go.
So that's what I did. So
when I saw that I saw that you was moving around, I was like, okay, I got to hit my girl up and make sure that we can make this happen. And we made it happen.
I'm so glad. You sound low. Is it your volume or mine?
It might be your, but I'm gonna turn mine up. Let me see. Can you hear me better now?
Is it mine?
It might be you.
So how about through this whole thing, my original phone froze, and of course there's no Apple, so I had to get a whole new phone. So I'm like
trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, but I'm still like with the new phone, so it may be me. Shit, I don't know how to. As long as I can say hello, then I'm good.
So you guys, I got I was saying what you got on. I got to meet AJ on a set, but let me tell you how God and the universe works. The week before, I saw Gabrielle Union on the Red Table Talk, and she was talking about how she was going, how you helped her work through some things, and I was like, I wish I had somebody like AJ in my life. And then I got this fucking script, and we got the cast list, and guess who was number one on the call sheet? AJ Johnson. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
And what part?
Like it wasn't even that far apart, yeah.
Right. When you told me that, I was like, and then on my side of it, I was like, I really love him. I want to work with him. I love his spirit. I love his thing. I really hope I get a chance to work with him because I'm in Atlanta, a lot. You're in LA, and I was like, I want to meet him. I want to work with him, but I really want to meet him. And then when you walked in the room, I think I was in a wardrobe fitting.
Yeah, he was a wardrobe fitting.
And you walked in the room, and I was like, and we both were like, let me tell you something. No, let me tell you something. I got to And it's been a love affair.
And it's been a love fest too. And I would like to tell, I know we told you this before, but I'll tell you again, those 2 weeks of working with you, you poured so, I don't even know how you were able to do your job because you also poured so much into Vanities. You poured so much into the crew. Like anybody you touched your hands on that you was like, you were just pouring yourself everywhere. So I'm surprised that you was able to still portray and act and do the job you were there to do because you gave so much of yourself to all of us while you were there?
Well, first of all, I'm so honored and honestly, like, so humbled that you guys received me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that was actually, and you know this, but just for everybody else to share, that was really the first lead role in my feet forward in acting in years. And so I, you know, and again, you know, I don't move without God telling me what my assignment is. That's who I'm, that's really who, you know, that we you know that. And so when this opportunity came up to do the movie, you know, I just said, how am I supposed to be used? Because I knew that going forward as an actress, there had to be something more for me than what, like, it didn't make any sense for me to just act again for the sake of acting again. I mean, I've been a celebrity, I've been rich, I've been, and it's like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, wore it, gave it to Goodwill, done. Like, you know, I wanted more than that life. That's my thing. And so I really remember saying, God, if you're going to put me back on screen as an actress, there's got to be more than what I did before. And the first thing was, he said, you've got to share on set, like, who you are completely, so deep you are. And if it helps one person, your job is done. The acting part, you can do that with your eyes closed, whether you realize that or not. You as an actress, it's riding a bicycle. You'll push, you'll dive in, you'll stay up all night learning lines, you'll bond with the director, you'll get the crew under your belt, and you'll create phenomenal art. That's just who you are as a talent. But what I need you to do is go make sure that the crew shifts in their spirit some kind of way. So my assignment on set was more pouring into you all than just doing this movie. Deep. It's deep to me.
No, it is. No, it is. Yes. No, and like I said, it was amazing. So before, it really was. It was amazing, and like I said, you know, we went to lunch. We just said, listen, I can gush over you for an hour. So that's. Well,
just know I'm over the world talking about so we're gushing all over each other.
Yeah, we gush over each other. So I want to jump into who AJ Johnson is, right? So to me, you've always, from all I've known you, is that you've been this Black fitness woman. Like, see, I mean, I know you from the acting, but I just really know you more for, you just been about fitness, you've been about mental health, you've been about just, you know, just empowering the Black people just in general, and just empowering people in general, but with an emphasis on Black people. Amen. You know, yeah, you know. So that's what I've always known you as. So which one came first for you? Have you always been that person, or were you an actor, and then something changed in you to bring you onto this other path?
No, I was the healthy living first. I was living first because when I lost my mother, unfortunately, to cancer, the first 2 months, literally, of my freshman year being in Atlanta at Spelman, I literally just got into Spelman in Atlanta that August. My mom was dead from cancer, thyroid cancer, Halloween, October. So 2 months into my time away at school, I lost my mom, and she hadn't been sick more than 30, 60 days. I immediately dove into being a pre-med major at 17. So I've always studied healthy living. I've always been fascinated as a chemistry psych major. I've always been fascinated by the whys, the hows, the, you know, what connects and what collides. I mean, that's a lot of biology and science, but that's where a big part of my mind and my spirit lives, is in the science of things. So I put that on hold because I also have always loved being a performer. I mean, I grew up, you know, figure skating, gymnastics, modeling, acting. My parents had me in all of that growing up. So, but I was raised to believe that that was extracurricular. You know, go to college, you get a good degree, you get a solid career in accounting or medicine, and then you can do the plays and stuff on the side. But it never was on the side for me. So my dad said, I'll tell you what, you finish with honors from Spelman, and then I will finance 6 months of you going to New York or LA so you can get rid of this I want to be a performer thing, and go to med school to be the surgeon, you know, doctor you're supposed to be. And I was like, deal. And so by the time I got to LA, I literally was in LA not even 30 days before I started starring in music videos and guest starring on TV shows. And I mean, my rocket took off, Derek, like immediately. And history. So it was first I was in the sciences, then it was art, and then even my dad, as much as him being my biggest fan, my acting coach on set, as my career grew, he always said, I think you got to do something with this medicine. I think you got to do something with this passion for science. I think you got to do something. I don't know what it is. I get you don't think, oh, a white lab coat is fly enough for you, and it was not. So he was, get it, but you're going to have to do something because it's war. You're walking around with a protein shake. You're constantly giving people advice when they don't even ask for it. He's like, you know, you get on my nerves trying to tell me how to eat and do something different. He was like, you got to do something with it because it's who you are. And unfortunately, I lost him in 2002, right after we finished Baby Boy. And I promised myself for him that I would try to do something with my passion to help people and healthy living. And so here we are.
Now, I'm all over the place. I got so much I want to, I'm all, I got so much I want to talk to you about. So, you mentioned this, so let's go into there first. So people people know you from Baby Boy. That's just an iconic, it's an iconic role. Huh?
More than House Party?
I would say more than, I would say yes, more than House Party. But yeah, no, you wasn't, I think so. Because people just know you as Jodi's mom. Like, that's just what, you were a party girl in a House Party, but you were Jodi's mom in Baby Boy. So, but having those two those two iconic roles, how do that's what people just always know you as. And so was it hard for you breaking out of that stigma of or did you appreciate that and accept it?
I have always appreciated it. I always accepted it more from our African American community globally than the industry. I feel like the industry has and does stick us in a box because after Baby Boy, I mean, I'll be honest, I really did Baby Boy hoping to get the critical acclaim as an actress to do what I wanted to do because I really wanted to do sci-fi movies, action thrillers. Like I wanted to cock a gun and be that chick, right? But nobody was seeing me as that. So I felt like, okay, if I do Baby Boy, I'll have enough critical acclaim in this drama to then pick and choose. And was the industry just kept sending me Baby Boy 5, 6, 7. Like even my agents at the time were like, okay, this is completely different than Baby Boy. You have to do this movie. We got the script. It's amazing. And I was like, well, what's different? Well, it's not South Central, it's Chicago, and you have 6 kids this time. Right? So I was like, okay, they're not going to get it. So once I realized, and that happened honestly for 2-3 years after Baby Boy. And that's when I said, you know what? They're not going to get it. So let me take the power back within my, stop waiting on them and do it how I want to do it. So I just figured if I dove deeper into the healthy living side of my life, built my body the way I really wanted it to be, stopped hiding that side of me, that people would hopefully take notice, and then I would be in a different position to do what I wanted to do. I had no idea, though, to be honest. I had no idea that the healthy living would take off in so many different directions. Once I and said, this is who I am, take it or leave it. If my abs are too much for you, then walk away. If my body's too much, then put on your sunglasses because I'm gonna go ahead and shine. I just decided, let's see what happens if I really let loose with who I really am. And the rest started to happen. And now, which is really crazy to me, stepping forward again as an actress, it's exactly what I prayed for. It's exactly what I wished for. Directors I want to work with, scripts I want to do, characters are being written for me. I'm doing it from choice now, as opposed to trying to make a living, trying to be a celebrity, trying to pay bills. Now it's like I've got an established brand, an established career, and now this is fun to go forward. Notice I don't say back into, to go to from a whole different perspective And now I'm really enjoying it and having fun. It's been amazing. Last year has been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Now you mentioned your body, which I wanted to, because I tried to Googling you, trying to find a picture. Is that picture of you and your abs? That's what that is? Like you put AJ Johnson, and then that's what just everything just shows up, just the body. So I was back, before it was kind of like you, and it was like Big Les, like was like for women that have like. That's like their body, and they're like they care about their physique and everything like that. So, did you get a lot of backlash during that time for being such a? You were muscular, but not like manly muscular. But for you taking so much care of your body as a Black woman and not really being as shapely as men would want her to be, did you get a lot of backlash from that?
Absolutely, still do, personally and professionally. Oh yeah. If you're a woman, especially Black woman, if you're a Black woman with abs or biceps, it's too masculine. And it's mostly, the funny thing is, it's mostly from women. Brothers love it. Brothers is like, ooh, can I lick your abs? Can I? And I'm like, will you? Can you? It's mostly from women who have criticisms, and it's to this, and it's to that, and it's to this. And while everybody's entitled to their opinion, I find that women who are not in shape have more to say about it, which I find is a little bit interesting, and that's a whole nother, Instagram Live conversation. But most of the time, men are either complimentary or they're saying, can you train my girl or my wife? Or I have more of a hard time now with men dealing with all of me as opposed to approaching me for my physique.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love about it is, you're gonna probably find this hilarious because I don't think I've ever told you this, that I'm actually body shy.
Girl, you are what?
Look, believe it or not, and I'm saying this because I knew you were gonna laugh, I'm body shy because I feel like, I decided that I wanted to have an exceptional physique. I wanted, because people have watched me. I've been in the public eye my entire adult life. So people have been watching me for 30 years. And I wanted to make sure that in all I do, and I think you know this, but I try to be an example of from whatever perspective I'm publicly being displayed. I take that seriously, I really want to be an example of whatever it is my platform is. So when I decided I was going to do healthy living and be in fitness, I decided I wanted to be exceptional. I didn't want to look like an actress who was in between films and decided to take a few workout classes. I wanted people to know, oh no, she's the real deal. Like she's not. And if you're in fitness, you know how much I'm not playing because you know the discipline with the food it takes to have that kind of physique. And if you're not in fitness, you're going to want to know how I did it. So either way, and that's what I decided I wanted to do. So for me, it really never mattered what other people thought as long as I was reaching the goals that I set for me. And I felt like for the people who are closest to me, they would and have respected my choices and were my cheerleaders all the time and never made me feel bad about whatever direction I was going. Most of the time, everybody was like, okay, how in the hell can you help me? Like, what are you eating? What are you doing? What is going on? And I loved it. And every year I set a different goal. When I first started to see my body shifting for my food and my exercise, that next year my goal was to get the, well, damn. That was my goal. People would say, well, damn, when they saw my pictures. And then my goal was, well, shit. And next year was, okay, all right. Like they words. And I just kept setting goals for myself.
Now I talked to Angel Conwell earlier this week.
Yeah.
And she basically, she basically said when she was on the set of Baby Boy, she knew that it was going to be amazing. She said it was just a feeling about the set. It was a feeling about the people she was working with. It was a feeling about working with the director and everything that she just knew it was going to be amazing. Did you have that same feeling?
No. I'll tell you why. I was so immersed and focused on creating Juanita to a point where she would be a poster child for every woman worldwide who was in that situation. And because it was such a foreign thing to me, I was so tunnel vision into making sure that I crossed every T and dotted every I. Like, you know, I don't know nothing about smoking. So when John and I decided that the cigarette would be a character of its own, I mean, that was an acting lesson, just in terms of, you know, how you talk, how you hold it in your hands, how you hold it in your mouth, how you leave it in your mouth, how you take a puff and blow through your nose. I mean, all this stuff I had to learn to just even be a believable smoker, right? You know, even in terms of working with Ving Rhames, Ving, compared to me in person, even at that time, is massive. And it was intimidating. And John was like, I kind of can see where you're a little intimidated in your scene. And I want you to be that little firehouse Mighty Mouse bitch from the hood that goes after the big niggas. That, like, you know, she ain't satisfied unless it's big and black. Like, I want you to be her. And she's this big. I had to work at that because I had never been in that position before, personally or professionally. So I had to do the work to get used to not only get used to Ving and his masculine energy and his passion coming at me, but I had to meet it as opposed to shrink in it. So those are two examples of what I was dealing with in my mind and my spirit as we were shooting. So I was so focused on the work that I couldn't even leap outside the work to say, oh, we getting ready to do something. We getting, you know, even Tyrese, don't forget, Tyrese was a newcomer. He had not done anything. So John was putting a lot of energy on me to make sure that I was giving Tyrese the support. And there, even when I wasn't in sync with Tyrese, John had me there because, you know, Tyrese and I clicked so amazingly and the chemistry was so great. It was almost like I was kind of like a side support acting coach for Tyrese, just giving support in scenes that were hard for him. So I was working. All that to say,
you said you earned that check, huh?
All that to say, I was working. I was working the entire time. Oh my gosh. The hardest project I've ever done. The hardest project I've ever done. There was no celebrating for me until we wrapped. And honestly, not even in the wrap. When the crew started saying, get ready, because this is going to be like, you're bringing fire to this. And when your crew says that, which, you know, it's the same thing happened with Sins of the Father when we did for TV One. When the crew is crying when you're doing scenes, or when the crew is laughing at your jokes or your choices, to me, that's when you know you got something. Because they know what's coming. Y'all know the script. You know, when you're on set, you know, the crew knows what's going to happen. And when you can evoke emotions out of them, then you know. So that was kind of a clue. When the press started seeing test screenings and they were like, oh my God, then I knew that we had something special, but not before that.
Because you said you were just too immersed in trying to just make it work.
It was the toughest project I've ever done. The toughest on so many different levels. Like I said, I didn't know nothing about South Central. I didn't know nothing about them South Central single mom, them girls. John had me spending the nights with these girls over in the hood. And I was like, oh my God, they took me to get my nose pierced, my hair colored. Like I was fresh and new to all of that. To all. And it actually stuck. Like AJ after Baby Boy is a whole different AJ than AJ before Baby Boy. And just attitude, expression.
Was that a good thing or a bad thing, or was it just a new thing?
It's a new thing. I don't think it's good or bad. I think it's just a new thing. You know, a lot more street savvy, a lot more outspoken. Can you believe that? A lot more. I mean, my taste in men changed. It's crazy. It's And I've heard that from people before, that when they do a role that's completely different from anything they've done or who they are, there's parts of that character that get planted in you. And now that's what happened with Baby Boy. Now
you have a eccentric personality.
I do.
So what? And I know how is it when people meet you that can't really take you? They say you too much. They say that it's like, oh, I can't deal with AJ. That's just, it's too much. And they might not even know you, but they just have this moment about you. How do you, one, deal with that? Or do you ever address it? Or how do you deal with anything like that?
A lot of times I think I'm so busy being me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that I work on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not afraid to do the work with people who are close in my life. I think there's been a couple times where I've probably even hit you and said, I love you, I miss you. If there's anything I can do to better, I'm not afraid to be all of me. And so for people who don't receive that, I'm okay with that. That just means we're not supposed to connect. We collide, and that's okay. Now, there's going to be situations, especially in our industry, where there may be people that you have to work with that you don't necessarily click with. And business, I think if we're both mature enough to say, I wouldn't hang with you, but we're working together, so let's create this project. I think that's awesome. I come to do the work, and then I leave knowing that we're not necessarily friends, and I'm okay with that. If a situation is brought to me that I don't necessarily agree with, if it's brought to me about me, I much rather go to the person directly and confront the situation. I don't think confrontation is a bad word. I think it's the first step in clearer and better communication. So I just say, if you're not a confrontational person, be careful talking about me.
I like that. I'm about to use that.
If you don't like confrontation, then be careful talking about me. Because if it comes back to me, then I'm going to say, when I see you at a party, I'm going to say, excuse me, it was brought to my attention that you said such and such. Oh, no, I didn't. No. Yes, you did. And it's okay that you said it, but let's clear it up, because I need to understand why you said it, why you didn't say it to me, and what we need to do to clear it up. I'm going to give you a good example. There's a woman who I'm not necessarily close to, that was actually very close to. We had a mutual girlfriend. Okay? And unfortunately, we lost this friend to cancer. I chose to not go to the funeral. We lost her. The funeral was a week later. It was too soon for me. I wasn't aware that we were losing her. I thought, honestly, that we were on the other side. I thought things were great. And all of a sudden I get a call that, it's a number of hours because she's in hospice. I was completely thrown by the whole situation. Unfortunately, we did lose her. The service was a week later, and I didn't go. I just was not ready. I talked to my friend's mom, sister, family. I felt very comfortable in my decision not going, because I just felt like I didn't want to be there and make everybody else upset. I also didn't want to be there acting like, I was fine at certain moments, because I wasn't. I took the loss really, really hard. So I just said, you know what? It's better for everybody if I'm just not there. This particular friend of hers that I know started talking to people at the service like, well, where's AJ? I thought they were so close. Well, and it got back to me by two different people that this particular person was kind of talking about, where was I? Well, God be my witness. At an Oscar party, I saw her at the party, and I told my friends when I saw her, excuse me, I'll be right back. And I went over to her and I said, hey girl, we hugged. I said, so listen, it's been brought to my attention that you had some type of issue with the fact that I wasn't at our girl's funeral. What do you mean some type of issue? I said, well, you were talking about like kind of asking questions with a very catty attitude. Where was I? Oh, well, I don't remember. I said, okay, well, you don't have to remember. But two people not connected brought it to my attention. So I promised myself, next time I saw you, I would come to you with it. And I want to let you know, it's none of your fucking business where I was.
I was waiting for, I thought you was about to give me a real, I didn't know you was going to go to that. I didn't know you was going to go that way.
Where I was. Everybody handles death and mourning differently. And for whatever reason you felt like you need to question where I was, you could have found me to ask me directly, but you were catty talking to other people about it. So just FYI, be careful with that with other people. because it wasn't your business where I was.
Mm-hmm.
We good? And she was kind of like caught off guard, of course. And she said, yeah, we're good. I said, good. So don't let that shit happen anymore. And I walked away.
That's the other side you had to come out for a second.
That's the Jersey girl.
Right.
So all of that, to answer your question, if you're not feeling me, I'm fine with that, because we're not going to all feel each other, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. But what you're not going to do is talk about me behind my back in such a negative light. It come back to me, and I don't confront it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I'm a woman of my word and my reputation, and I work too hard on keeping both for your perception to tarnish that. You can have your perception of me and move on accordingly. But what you're not going to do is spit poison on my name and reputation. And then I find out about it. Oh, no. I've got the antidote. Believe that.
Now, a woman that is, you're centered, like you said, you love who you are, you know who you are, you know yourself. How is that in Hollywood? Like that, like does those even two married mess with each other? To be a woman that knows who she is, that's comfortable with who she is, you know, and then you have a whole bunch of people that don't know who they are, that's not comfortable with who they are, you know, so trying to navigate in that world, how does that even work?
It's very challenging. Mm-hmm. It's really challenging. And it's been easier before because I wasn't really a big part of Hollywood all these years. In terms of actively, you know, I wasn't actively on set. I wasn't actively at the parties. I wasn't actively on red carpets. You know, I wasn't an active part of Hollywood. It was easy for me because of my other business. I could choose to not go to the carpets or walk the carpet. I could choose to not, but you know, there's a way to play the game. It's like you can go to a basketball game and have a great courtside seat, or you can be part of the team, and it requires different skills, right? Mm-hmm. It's challenging because now where I am in my life, I know very much what brings me peace, what brings me joy, what works in my life and what doesn't. And so I'm learning, to be honest, I'm learning now how to navigate Hollywood at this phase of my life. The good news is, you know, I have my friends and I have my strong acquaintances in the town. I'm also building relationships. Because there's new people, there's new actors, producers, there's new directors. And so the good news is now that we have social media, I can kind of look and see who's who and what they're doing and kind of see who they are as people, because a lot of people will tell you who they are with their social media line. You can get a chance, you can know who people are. You know, before you even meet them, you know, it's your resume. So I'm kind of looking to see who people are. And a lot of times when I meet them, I can say, oh, so their IG is fake, get it. Or they're really real, because who I met is who I see on IG. So I'm a little bit more, you know, I feel like I'm more of a loner, especially now through this quarantine. I've learned I'm much more of a loner than I ever thought I was. But I'm not, you know, as much as I love to party and I'm the one known for starting the dance floor up, I also like to sit back and watch and just kind of, you know, survey the room more than being aware of it all the time. So it's challenging. I'm learning now how to navigate it. I mean, I think that's really the answer to your question. I'm learning.
Okay. So there's no definite answer to this, because like you say, because it's forever changing. So therefore you have to forever change, not change, but you're constantly learning on how to deal with these people.
Now I will say I'm pleasantly surprised that in this new surge of being an actress, I didn't realize before this how respected I was as an actor. And I didn't realize that I was acknowledged as iconic, or I didn't, because I've been away from it. I'm talking about in the industry. Right. You know, it's nice for people to go, ooh, legend, ooh, GOAT, ooh, you know, on Instagram. But I mean, within the industry, you know, when you run into someone and they say, oh my God, I saw your work in such and such, it's so good to have you back on camera. Or I'll walk up, you know, honestly, shy and sheepishly to a director and say, so I don't know if you know, but I'm acting again. And if there's anything that comes up, I would love to work with you. I mean, it's been hard for me to even say that. And then every time I've said it, thank God, the director or producer I'm approaching goes, oh my God, that's amazing. Of course, I would love to work with you. Oh my gosh, this is going to be welcome back. This is awesome. We missed you. Well, I can't, I never expected that. And so it gave me a confidence in speaking up more and pursuing it, because Derek, I was never good at the Hollywood game. I love creating. I love the work, but I was never good at that whole Hollywood shuffle thing. I was never, and I'm learning now how to play the newer game of it.
I like that you clarified that when you said not the people, but people in our industry. Because I look at people like my hairstyle constituents that may have 1 million followers, but they don't have respect for people in the industry. So that really doesn't matter. The 1 million followers don't really mean much if people in your industry doesn't respect you. It feels good to me where I be able to see, my fellow people like a Kaya or a Larry or a Ted Gibson or Oscar James or Chuck, and we know who each other are, like we know each other are, and it's like, oh, I'm still respected in the industry, and that's a way better feeling than, like you said, than having everybody else know you. To know that you're still respected in your industry and your craft is a great feeling to have. I
mean, for me, and I'm glad you feel the same way. I think there's probably a lot of people who the followers are more important, and that's their thing. Because that comes and that goes. But I love the fact that I can walk on a set, and I have walked on a set, and wardrobe or props or the producer says, you may not remember me, but I was an extra on House Party, and now I'm producing this film, and it's so amazing to work with you again. Or somebody say, I met you 20 years ago at a club in Atlanta, and you haven't changed a bit. And I mean, they may say that on a set, and I don't really know who they are. That happened when we were working. Craft service lady said, I worked with you years ago. Give me a hug. You still the same. That to me is what I value. All these years later, that people still have a good feeling when they hear my name or say my face. That's what's important.
So I'm gonna get a little personal, AJ. So this is a little personal.
What?
So being that you are an iconic person in the Black community, how is dating for you?
Dating is you're laughing because you know me so well, or if you're laughing fucking question. Dating is tough. Dating is damn near non-existent. But I do take responsibility for that because I'm very, very selective. My life is as complex as you say that my personality is. So I know it's going to take a very special man to be interested in all the aspects of me that are going to be required for me to date. I have a lot going on, and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm very protective of it. So to share it with somebody, I got to know that he's worthy, and I got to know that he's going to respect and be a cheerleader. For me, this is deep for me that I'm learning about myself and admitting recently, to be honest. I'm very attracted to men who are not necessarily that big hoopla, lights, camera, action guy. That's hard when both of you are that. And a lot of people run to that relationship, and it looks like #relationship goals on Instagram and on Twitter. But I have too many clients in that position that are struggling because it's just hard. It's hard to be what each other needs when you're both trying to stay on top and get this job and keep this series and make the team. And, it's a lot. So part of what's hard for me, I think, is I am really attracted to the businessman who has his relationship with God, loves family, and really appreciates the girl in me who just likes to walk on the beach and play with the dog and dive into the script when it's time, or travel the world, or like, you know, I feel like I'm really simple and basic in my soul. And it's I have all this AJ Johnson stuff, but that's not who I am. Or I should say that's not how I am. It's a big part of who I am, but I'm very much simple on a spiritual level. And I just find it's hard to find men who are interested in that. You know?
I can agree with you on that.
Really? The same with you?
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Then, you know, because they get caught up with all that other stuff, and you're like, wait, but I'm not like this. This ain't all the time. Let's talk about when all this is not there. Where are we at now?
Right. Like when I come home from work and I wash my face and take off my ponytail and toss it in the back seat of the car.
So are we still in that same space?
Right. Right. Are you just is as in love with her, or even more so than the AJ Johnson that is on the magazine cover or on the screen? You know, it's tough. And I'm still in process of finding that. I'm still in process of learning what I want and what I need. When you've been in this business for 30 years, as great as that is and amazing as that is, there's shifts and changes that happen with you personally, or with me personally and professionally over the time. And so, like, even for me, like, you know, I've always attracted younger guys. And I'm attracted to younger guys. I don't quite know if that's a really good match for a relationship, but I don't look at guys over 40. I don't even know that I'm doing that. It's just what I'm attracted to is 25 to.
Oh, you go real young.
But not on purpose. I just like it. I like, you know.
I like it too, girl.
They're hollering at me. And I'm like, God bless my nephew who's 29. He's like, Auntie, can you please, like, when my friends, can you please put on some clothes? He's like, well, can you put on more? I'm like, so, you know, it's just, I'm learning what that's about and what that means. And hopefully one day there'll be a match, you know?
Now you said a word that you helped me work through. But I just want to know why this word is so hard for people. And the word you said is worthy.
Woo!
To know that you
gonna make me grab some vodka.
Girl, but honestly, no, but wait, when you said it, because I remember our conversation we had for lunch, like I started tearing up a little bit. I was like, okay, wait, I can't cry right now. Let me just let me keep myself together. Let me stay composed right now while I'm talking to her. But right when you said it, it was like something hit me in my chest, like boom, and I was like, not right now. But why is that such a word that people don't really understand, embody, cherish? You know, what is it about that word, and what the meaning behind that word?
Okay, let's start with the meaning, because I think that's going to help you and I, and everybody here in our chat, understand the rest of it. To me, worthy is believing in myself, believing that I deserve what I want, believing that I don't have to settle less than what I want. Worthy is understanding that it may be challenging to have the things I want, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. How am I doing? Does that?
No, you're good. No, you're good.
So let's start there. That's what worthy is. Worthy is also, this just almost shook me up. Worthy is, from my spiritual work, there is a woman that God has built me to be. And I can choose to walk in that path and rise to that occasion, because he's the one who's built me to be a princess, because he's royalty. So if I'm going to be that princess, There's the way I have to walk, talk, think, be. And sometimes that's going to be above a lot of what I may choose.
Mm-hmm.
And so what am I choosing? Am I going to choose to fit in, or am I going to choose to stand up and out? And I feel out is typically who he's calling me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's my definition of worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think what happens is that that's a really, really hard place to live for most of us, because automatically, if you're listening to my definition, already there's people in your life that have to go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for people who are even in the group, it's like if you're gonna use my measuring stick of worthy in your own life, there's people who just ain't. You're gonna leave them. You're gonna have to leave them behind, and that's not easy. But it's almost like you have to say to yourself, "Am I settling in this relationship? Am I rising to be the woman or the man that I know I can be, or I'm supposed to be in this relationship? Are they wind to me, or are they cement holding me back? If they're cement, they gotta go. And if you live by that, that's hard. That's a hard choice to make. Admitting to yourself, living in a place of complete and utter self-honesty. If you say, listen, I know I would be better off either not at this job, or not in this marriage or relationship, or not having these discussions with my family. If I live that side of better off, what happens? And if you decide to try that, 9 times out of 10, that's where your worthy is. And so that's why it's so hard for most of us to choose that, because we've grown up, well, because that's your brother or your sister, you need to, or, well, that's the job you're supposed to have, so that's what happened, or, well, you know, you're 30, you're 35, you're supposed to be in a relationship or married or with kids, or all the supposed tos. We live according to supposed tos. And I just don't, you know, my level of worthy has never shown me that the supposed tos are as rewarding as if I live my worthy self. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm with you.
You know, I know you are.
Yeah, we here.
You're talking to me, AJ. I know. You're like, look, for this audience, trust me. Yeah, you know, I have just learned, and I think that's a great test, that if you are not sure what worthy looks like in your life, just try one thing and see if you come out in a better place in the effort of being worthy or living your worthy self than not. I mean, again, you know, I went to Africa for the first time going into 2019, and I had no idea that my degree of worthiness was going to rise and my understanding of worthiness was going to elevate like it has done since my journey to Africa. And so I told myself there, you know, when I go back to the United States, I am going to live this different level of African royalty, even no matter where I go. It's not going to just be when I'm in Africa. This is who I am. I'm learning my true history. I'm learning what my DNA really is. And it doesn't matter whether I'm in America or not. I'm going to walk in this space. And whoever is not with it is fine. I'm fine with that. But I'm going to carry this royalty for the rest of my life. And that's a whole nother level of worthy.
You know, you did good. We all, everybody's with you. We all understand what you just said.
Amen.
You did it. No, you did it.
And you know, I gotta say, this new space of living the worthiness, of believing the worthiness, and I'm gonna interchange worthy and royalty, because again, in Africa, I learned we are royals who were just kidnapped from Africa, and we've learned to embrace our kidnappers. Whoa!
Girl, you about to take us somewhere else.
I was gonna say that just hit me like bam, dead in my chest. We just learned to embrace our kidnappers, and that's typical for someone who's kidnapped. You see these kids who are kidnapped as kids, and they have babies with their kidnappers, and they're scared to go home because after 10 years, becomes their family. They have no idea that they were illegally taken away, and that's who we are as African Americans. And to be given the choice and the chance to go back to Africa and learn the history that we're never taught here, whether it's in school or not, to learn who we really are, it completely shifted me from the inside out. And the people who I've been blessed with since then are the friends and the coworkers that I've prayed for that I've never thought were possible. Like all the people who are really in my life now, I understand why they're in my life, because this is what I've wanted all this time and just could never find it. And I think the shift in me is what sparked the connection deeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Now, this is like it's a funny question, but what is it about you that you're able to tell people what they already know, but make them understand it? Did I ask that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the thing about this is that because I listen to you, I see your stuff, and really, you have the moment in you to energize the person. It's like you're not, because the thing about it, AJ, you're not making none of this stuff up. This stuff is here. We know this stuff, but it's like, what is it about you that people's like, well, AJ said it, so I got to do it now. It's like, but you should have been waking up and going to work. So why, just because AJ told you to wake up and go to work, why do you think you got to go to work now?
That's funny. Well, for one, I really didn't even know that I have that gift. I mean, I'm learning it from you. I had no idea that I had that gift, which I think is really funny and amazing at the same time. That's really funny. But, if I have to answer, what could that be? My only answer is that not for the response, just for my self-satisfaction. I want to be as authentic and honest as I can be. And I feel like I want to give and pour what I want to attract. So authentic, honest love is where I come from in whatever I'm trying to present. And I think there's a lot of people who may not have that overflowing. And so when you do receive it, it's like, oh my God, I think that could be what it is, that anyone who's receiving it like that, they're just not used to it. And I said this to a consult client the other day who I got in her butt last week because she wasn't doing her homework. And she told me yesterday, she said, I got to tell you, last week I was kind of in my feelings. Like, you came at me really hard. And then I had to realize that you were right. And I said, well, why? Okay, great. I'm glad. I said, well, why were you in your feelings first? And she said, because I have a different definition of love and honesty from my history. And you had to introduce to me a whole nother level of love and honesty. And people call it tough love. And she said, and I'm going to take this from her. She said, not tough love, it's real love. Whoa! She said, the real love feels tough when you're not used to it. How deep is that?
And the thing, and it's deep because it's so many people that don't even know what real love is. So it's like, so that's it's so many people. It's one thing if we knew it was one or two people that had that feeling, but when we know that there's a multitude of people that don't even know what real love is, so they're mistaking tough love. I mean, they're mistaking real love as tough love.
I got to a point where I have to tell people, okay, so when you come to me, remember who you're coming to. And this is not professionally. This is not life coaching. This is like friends. If you come to the issue or problem, the first thing I say is, okay, first, are you asking me my opinion or are you just sharing? Because I don't want to give advice if you're not asking for it. And they'll say, oh, I don't need your advice. I'm just telling you. Okay, cool. So I'm like, pour me a drink, sit back and talk all you want. But if people say, well, I want to hear what you think, I'll say, are you sure? Because I'm coming with the real. And I want to be that brand. I want, when you hear my name, when I'm your friend, when we're sister and brother, I want you to know I'm going to bring you the truth. I'm going to bring you the real, because that's how I love you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to bring you the real and do it from love, so that you know when you come to me, that's just who I am in your life. You know, that's who I am in your life. So there's no confusion. There's no miscommunication. You know, life is too short for us to try to deal with each other based on what I thought you meant. And 2 years ago when you said, I ain't got time for that. Not that 2 years ago when you said, let's clear it up so we can enjoy each other, as opposed to find out 2 years later, we misunderstood each other and we ain't talked since. Like, that's bullshit to me. I'd rather be truthful and honest, you know, and I've had people say to me, you know, I told you something in privacy and I found out you said something and I don't appreciate it. I told you something in privacy, and I'll say, well, wait, hold on, because I never intend on that. So tell me, and I'll say, you know what? Honestly, I had no idea that you were telling me in that degree of secrecy. I would never share your business knowingly. So blame that on, I had no idea. Maybe I didn't understand. Maybe I didn't hear you. I would never tell your business, purposely spread your business. That's not my intention. That's not who I am. I apologize. Please give me a chance to make up for it or fix it. I would never intentionally spread your business or hurt you. I'm a big enough person to be able to say that. I don't want to come off like I'm never wrong, or I never, you know, the first thing I say is, you know what? I had no idea. I didn't realize. Maybe I said it and I don't remember saying it. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm gonna fix it, because, you know, we're all human. So I'm gonna fix it. But you're right. I think there's so many people that don't deal in truth and honesty. And that keeps me with a very small circle of friends. That keeps me with a very intimate setup of people that I spend time with them, that I'm around.
So before this contact, because this contact already pop up, I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give people that is ready to step up to the next level, just in their life? It could be just do better, but with themselves. What advice would you give them?
Make a plan, a realistic plan, and a map for what that step up looks like. That step up has a map as clear as any other navigation system. And just like you follow the navigation in the car, there's got to be a plan for your elevation that's that clear with the steps. And don't let anyone talk you out of the steps. Don't divert from the directions that you're giving yourself to move forward. Trust it. That's the fast version. Because you know, because navigation will tell you to go left, and I'm guilty. I'll be like, no, I know how to do this. I'll go right, and I'll spin straight into some construction. As opposed to navigation told you to go right. There's a satellite. That satellite can see what you can't see. Why don't you just trust it? So that's what I'm saying. Have a map and a plan. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then follow those steps and let no one talk you out of it. Your life, your vision, your dream, your goal, your map.
And you know, I got more and more questions, but they're about to cut me off. AJ, I love you.
Part 2. We'll do.
I know we have to do a part 2. I'm gonna check your schedule so we can jump on part 2. But well, AJ,
before we leave, real quick. So
go ahead.
I'm so nervous about the United States, and I don't trust what's going on. I'm leaving. So next time we do part 2, I'm gonna be on the islands. I leave next week.
Wait, where are you going?
Look, when you pop up live next time, I'm gonna be on the beach somewhere. Trust me.
Okay, well that's what you know what? And we're gonna check. AJ, I love you so much. Thank you, baby. And I will see you for part 2, okay?
Absolutely.
Bye, my love.
Bye.